Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 90% podcast. As always, I'm Nick Iula.
I'm Mike Iula.
And today we are talking about elementary school.
Yeah.
We're just going to dive into about the 3 or 4 part series of like our ages. Last episode we did 0 to 5. There wasn't a lot of memories when we were babies, but we talked about preschool. And then this one's is going to be all about elementary school. We might do 2 parts, but we'll see.
Yep.
And then from middle school, for some reason, that was our first episode, so we might jump around, but we're not sure what we're going to do.
Yep. So, yeah, well, let's get into it.
All right.
Yeah, but before we get started, let me ask you a question. What do you think of the new hair?
Oh, yeah. Mike's had his haircut for about a day or 2 now.
Yeah, as of recording this episode, I just got a haircut. Let me know if you guys like the flow, if you like it a little shorter. I just decided to cut it because it was getting a little out of hand. But I'm sure it'll grow back pretty quick. I like it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fresh look.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was dying before.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely dying for sure.
But, yeah, it looks good on you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We've experimented with a lot of haircuts, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going back to when we were younger, about 16, I used to have, like, longer hair, and then Mike had short hair for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you rocked long hair for a while, and you're kind of in and out of long hair and, like, a taper fade, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had short hair since 2016.
Yeah.
So
It's unbelievable, though, if you think about it, because I remember when you grew your hair out, and it felt like yesterday, you know, that whole flow of, like, stage
yeah,
in school, and everybody was growing their hair out and stuff. And I always thought that you always had, like, really nice long hair.
thanks.
So, but you never know. It's why you gotta stay on your toes with the Iula brothers.
Yeah, you never know. And it's funny. We'll look at pictures and stuff, and we'll just be like, I have no idea who's who.
A lot of people will come into our lives, and some will leave, and it's like they associate us based off of our hair or looks. So unless you really know us to a T, or you watch a lot of these episodes, you'll be able to associate the differences. But if you're basing it off of hair, it's gonna be troublesome because we change it up sporadically every once in a while. So.
Yeah, but we've kept it consistent. Mike's always on the left side.
Yeah, and you're on the right. So I mean, maybe next season we'll spice up the setting and
Yeah, we don't know.
we'll have our own things. We'll see.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is elementary school, so let's get into it.
Wow. Elementary school.
Run it back.
Run it back.
K through 5. Well, anyway, what did you think of elementary school? Did you like elementary school?
Loved it.
Me too.
I'll never forget when I went to middle school and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
You know, there was something
True.
about elementary school. Just, I don't know what it was. I feel like it was just the fact that, first of all, we were young and it was our first experience being with a group of people that were our age, that weren't ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
But and that was our first time seeing different grades too. So
right.
being intimidated by 5th graders.
Yeah, I remember just being a little kid and always like watching grades above you, like walking down the hall with their classes, and it's just like, wow, those kids look huge. I'll never be that big. And then,
I know.
you know, it's crazy as the years go on, and then you get to become a 5th grader, or like at the highest level when you're that young, and you're just like, I feel like I never got to that age. I never felt like the big kid.
You always felt like you were young when you got to be older.
Yeah,
You're
even
like, we're so much smaller than the kids that were this age. Back
exactly. So like when you start out, especially in like kindergarten or something, and then you look up to those kids, and even 3rd or 4th grade, they feel like giants. When you get to those ages, and you look down at the kindergartners, like, oh, they're so cute, but you don't even take into consideration how much you've grown in like that span. There's so much growth that happens in that 6-year span between kindergarten and 5th grade.
Yeah, that's true. I remember Mike and I had the same teacher. They put us in the same classes straight through from kindergarten to just 1st grade.
Yeah.
We had So we were always together, and I think even our friends at the time, we we kind of just felt like one big unit. We never were apart.
Right.
And kindergarten was probably so much fun. I think everyone can agree with that, though. At that age, it's just 4 play times a day, recess, whatever. Yeah, but our teachers were pretty awesome for the first 2 years of elementary school.
Oh yeah. I always loved our years at our elementary school. But for the most part, I mean, once we got transitioned into 2 different classes, that second grade year, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, Mike and I, and this is funny. Mike and I were so reliant on each other at that age. We were probably 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And the first, we got our report cards at the end of first grade, and our teachers were like, I think you get the teacher you're gonna have in June because you go back in September
Right.
to school, and it was like a big deal. You'd get your grades or whatever. No one really cared about grades in elementary school, but
Yeah.
the big deal was you were gonna get a teacher, and you kind of knew who the teachers were. Like there was a set of there's probably 4 of them.
3 or 4 per grade all the way up. So you had kids that would be in your classes from kindergarten or first grade, and specifically that year, you're like hoping that you have your friends go with you to wherever you were going to go next year,
True.
So, I mean, that was the first year that you and we got our report cards, and I think we waited to open them until we got to our Nana's house.
Yeah.
Shout out Nana and Pa. They watched
Nana
us.
and Pa.
Yeah, love them. They watched us, from kindergarten to 5th grade. We didn't go to an after-school program while our parents were working or whatever. And they were just around the corner from our elementary school. So it was perfect. And, I just remember, I got off the bus, and we opened our report cards, and I think you opened yours first, and you were like, oh, you have so-and-so as your teacher. And then I was like, okay, I must have her too. And I opened up mine, and then I was like, wait a minute, next year in 2nd grade, we're not going to be in the same class together. And that was just so crazy if you think about it. You know what I mean?
We were like, well, what do we do,
Yeah.
But I think the summer had went by, and the first day of school happened, and obviously we take the bus, and we would sit together to school.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got into, I think they divided up the kids in maybe the auditorium or, I guess, no, we didn't have an auditorium. It was a gymnasium, or just the cafeteria.
Right.
Before they put the tables out for lunches and stuff. So it was this big empty space. And they'd have, the teachers introduce themselves with probably a piece of paper that said their name or whatever, and the kids would follow.
Right.
And then you'd be like, oh, that's your teacher, yeah, yada, yada, yada. And parents would drop you off, and everyone would meet up. And then they'd walk you down to your classroom. But it wasn't until you're in 4th or 5th grade where they just knew that you knew where you were going because you were a little bit older.
They wanted you to become a little more independent because obviously eventually you have to go to middle school, and there was no such thing as lines or anything. So they were a little bit more free about letting you do those things. But as a young kid, on the first day of school, it's different than any other day of school because you get off the buses and you have to pretty much all the teachers are out there oh, I'm over here. And they show you where to go in the gym and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because I just remember, I think our mother was worried about you for some reason. And because of that, you worried me. I was worried about where you were going to go. And I was all freaked out because it was really hard not being with you after 7 years of life and just having to
Be on our own, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
There was never really a time at all that we had any independence to that point. So, yeah, I just remember that day, and that was crazy. But
it was. It's funny because I remember I had friends that were just they knew me up until that point. I knew a couple kids, and we talk about sports or whatever I don't even really know what we were talking about that age, but I went to the classroom and they split us up, and Mike and I said goodbye to each other, whatever, and then I was sitting there, and I think my teacher went through all the instructions of what they want, what she wanted, and she wanted us to have this super not isolated, but like independent like mentality in her classroom. So she went through all the rules, and like I'm 7 and I have like no attention. Like I don't have any attention to, like I'm not paying attention, and I'm just kind of wandering off. I'm like, I just want to do crossword puzzles and word searches,
Yeah.
and I just want snack, like And she went through all the. I'm just assuming this, like, because I honestly wasn't paying attention. And then she handed out like a packet for us to do because it was like the first day. We didn't have to do anything hard. And I was like, okay. So I went through all the packets. I finished up the first packet, and I remember looking around at everyone and just being like, I'm done. Like, I'm the first one done. Like, let's go. I was so happy. I stood up. I walked to her desk, and she had her back, like, faced towards me. And she was, like, probably putting all our names in, like, an Excel sheet or something to, like, set up grades. And I said, Mrs. So-and-so, whatever. She goes, yes, who is this? And she didn't even turn around. Like, she straight up looked at the monitor, and I was like, oh, hey, I'm finished. And then and this is my fault. I'm sure I ended up liking her as I got on, but she literally goes, can anybody tell Nick what he should do with his packet when he's finished? And I was like, I looked around, and like some smart ass like raised his hand and was like, Nick, you're supposed to put your packets in the bin over there when you're done. You're not supposed to interrupt the teacher. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like panicking. I was sweating. I threw my packet in the bin because everyone how did I not notice that people were doing that though? That's the dumbest part. Like I was just oblivious.
Right.
And I thought it was funny because I was like having a good day, but all of a sudden it just went horrible. And then just, I don't know. My first day of second grade just sucked because I was just, it just was hard. And I was like, what am I doing? I didn't know what to do without you. But what was your first day of second grade like?
Oh, God. Okay, so I remember my first day of second grade specifically for like one thing. And it was really like I was worried about you, but then I remember I just like had my eyes on this girl.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but like that first day for some reason I was like mesmerized by her. Like that was my crush, you know what I mean? I was just like, what the heck? And the crazy thing is like we had classes together prior to second grade.
You're like 8 though. How do you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know. But when you know, I guess.
Okay.
I just knew something. I just was like, there was just a glow about her. I was 8 years old. And it was like my first crush,
The first day of second grade?
First day of second grade, because I just remember she was like, and I won't say names, but like she knows who she is. And it's just like, I don't know, it was just crazy. I was just like, wow, I'm like, I really like her. And then I never said anything about it. You know what I mean? All through second grade, was nothing like that. But I don't know. I just remember like since that day and then every day that followed, I was like, wow, I really like, I think I like her, It was just, I don't know, something that I just held inside for a lot of years for some reason.
Wow. And that started second grade?
Second grade. And I just never said anything to her until like literally 5th grade.
Oh my God. So you just held it in?
Yeah, I don't know. I always just like, I just never had the courage or the confidence to say anything. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We'll skip around a little bit because we're on this topic, but eventually in like 5th grade, there came a time when her and her friends were like, I'm not going to say heckling because it's not heckling, but I just remember being like probably blatantly obvious about how I felt about her, And I was every year, 3rd and 4th, every year after second grade, I was always like, didn't have her in class, so it was hard, I was like, there's no way I was ever going to be like, yeah, I think I like you, I don't know.
Yeah.
At second grade, you don't even know how to...
Elementary school, you were feeling
Elementary school, and maybe that started a trend, but whatever. Either way, yeah, I just remember these vividly because it was important to me at the time. A lot of things didn't matter when you're that young, and some things just stick with you forever. So these will be some of the stories that, you just remember. And it wasn't until like midway through 5th grade that our friends were like, I know who you like. And like, I had no idea how they knew, Like I had no clue.
It's probably toxic. How do those? I don't know.
Yeah.
Never mind.
5th grade now, but I mean it's probably just comical talking about it now, but it was just like one of those things where um, I just built up the courage one day to be like, yeah, like you.
And that you dated her, right?
After like 3 years, right? Like
Yeah.
just waiting to be like, I think I like her, you know? And
Wow, I was just wondering how your first day of 2nd grade was.
yeah, I know.
Close.
It's important to understand because we'll backtrack, but I just to like get that story kind of rolling. This is like my first crush year, so it was a big deal, you know?
True.
And it was finally like after 3 years of like just always kind of liking this girl. I told her how I felt, and she was like, "Yeah, I like this other kid, but I kind of like you too." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Aw.
And then after that, we like dated, whatever dating is in 5th grade, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like it was a dream come true.
That's awesome.
So everything kind of came full circle. But yeah, that's how my first day of 2nd grade went.
Nice. Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. I guess to sum it up, 2nd grade's not. Just an interesting time. That was our first independence apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think we struggled at first, but once we got going and we were on our own, we made our own friends, and then we were apart up until 5th grade.
Yep.
We,
So
we didn't have the same teachers.
third grade, you and I were next to each other,
Classrooms.
classrooms,
Different teachers.
We kind of had our own friend groups. 4th grade had some, you know,
Same thing.
same kind of thing. I was in my own class. You were upstairs though, so we weren't even near each other at all.
Yeah.
It's our most independent
But
year.
we were used to it at the time though.
Right. And I loved all my teachers up till this point, even up into 5th grade. And it was awesome. Remember, we got the report card in 5th grade, and we were like,
Oh yeah.
oh, you know, because there's like
Yes.
3 teachers in 5th grade. Usually there's like 4. And personally, it was like everybody wanted this one teacher, you know.
Yeah.
We used to see him for math. It was weird. I don't know why. They switched for science and math, like through the year or whatever. But yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, I want this teacher." And we got like a teacher we didn't know a lot about. We just knew we didn't want the one teacher. No offense to her. It was just like there's 2 guy teachers and then there was 1 girl teacher
Yeah,
upstairs.
that's the problem though. Is like I feel like there was a lot of female teachers, which are fine. I had all female teachers up until 5th grade.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it was just like a
The-
stigma that everybody puts on.
Yeah, they want like it'd be cool just to have like a guy because there wasn't a lot.
Right. Like
Um,
that's the thing is like in my elementary school years, I had girl, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th I had guy.
Really? Oh yeah. The one that's cool.
And I loved every single one of them, all 6 of them. Like they were great.
Yeah,
None of them
I didn't have
were
nothing
bad.
to complain. I guess looking back, I had like some rough spots with teachers, but like for the most part, I always felt like by the end of the year or towards the middle, I was just like super comfortable with all my teachers.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't really a problem.
Yep.
But 5th grade was awesome. You remember, we had a teacher who liked to play kickball at the end of every single day. Like we'd take half an hour out of the last few minutes of the day, and we just
5th
play
grade.
kickball.
5th grade was really for me, like at that age, 10, 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Silly as that is, it's just like that was like a great time in my life, you know, between getting a girl and like having you back.
Yeah, we had
And just like
we had
having
cool
a
friend
bunch
group.
of friends in that class. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
And like our teacher was great. Like he was just so laid back, and we used to do these packets every morning where we'd have to like do the presidents, and then we would do this. There'd be like a new state every week, and we had to make these like artistic posters for them and stuff. We made all these crazy stories and stuff. So that was always awesome.
Yeah, I remember. I remember back in 3rd grade, and this is why I bring it up because almost the same thing happened to me in 5th grade. There was this thing we like to do, and I'm sure every kid can relate to this. They put, it was like fun to swing on the swings like really really fast, and you're supposed to like the idea is just to get as high as you can, and like hopefully you can get a little airborne, and then you'd fall back on your seat. You'd be going so fast on these swings.
Yeah.
And I think the like lunch monitors and like the secretaries and stuff, they were like hated it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like slow down, you're gonna
And
fall.
don't go too high.
Don't go too high.
Yeah, because it's on them, really.
Right.
At the
So
end of the day.
we created these like sports. Like we used to just like do stupid stuff. Like it was a game. Like how far can you fly off the swing
Yeah.
and just land in like the wood chips.
Yep.
And then we'd like measure it with a stick and see how far you could go.
Right.
And I remember a bunch of kids were doing it, and I was doing it. It was fun. And then I remember you, even though we didn't have the same teachers, they combined our entire third grade class
Mm-hmm.
to be out on the playground at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you flew off the swing and what happened?
Yeah. So again, in third grade, like I said, Nick and I weren't in a class together, but we happened to have recess at the same time. And a lot of the times, our third grade teachers would have recess together. Like we'd always have so many kids. And there was this thing like jump off the swing club or fly as far as you can off the swing. So we'd literally have kids just swing as high as possible, like so far. And then you would have to like bail on the swing as literally as high as you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was really just a show off like contest, really.
Really, yeah.
And I took it upon myself to just, I mean, I don't know, I was flying, dude. Like I was like pumping real hard and stuff. And then I don't know, I just like, I don't even think I got that high in the air, but I was going so fast and I was prepared to jump. And like the momentum took me so far. It felt like I went so far and I was flying through the air. And then I like almost was going so high and far at the same time. I didn't know how to land. Usually you land on your feet if you're lucky, but I was going so far that like I had my feet in front of me like I was a professional long jumper. Except instead of hitting like a soft dirt patch, I hit like the rocks or the wood chips.
Yeah.
And I landed, and I like braced for impact, and I landed kind of hard on my right wrist, and I ended up breaking my like entire wrist. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, oh God, and I just remember like everything turned gray.
Oh,
you know?
lost all your color and stuff.
Yep, everything was just like. I just didn't know what to do. And then the lunch monitor comes over. She's like, "Are you okay, sweetie?" And I'm like, "Not really."
Not really.
No.
So I remember I was there, and even though we didn't have the same teachers and everything, and you know, I didn't care. I was like confused why you were hurt because you like normally if you get hurt, you kind of brush it off.
Right.
But you were in a lot of pain. I remember the lunch monitor's like, "Do you want to go up to the nurse?" And you literally were like just so in shock because I don't at that age you don't you're 9.
Yep.
So I went out. You and I walked through the hallways and we were like rushing to the nurse's
Yeah,
office.
because they were like, "You want to go with your brother?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I'm like, I'll go. But then I was like panicking. I was having an anxiety attack because I was like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die.
I'm probably crying.
Yeah, Mike's
holding my arm.
He's like,
I'm pretty sure we went through like the back entrance, right? And like went up through the stairs.
yeah, all the way up.
Yeah. That was kind of a blur. I'm not even sure how I
Yeah.
remember that, but some things you just don't forget. And then like we go to the nurse's office and she's like, "Oh, what happened?" And they're like, "Yeah, his arm's broken or his wrist's broken."
Yeah.
I used to tell everybody I broke my arm. It wasn't even my arm. It was my wrist, you know?
Yeah.
It just sounded cooler. "Oh, yeah, I broke my arm."
That's so funny.
You know?
I guess part of your arm, so.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that story is I actually have the cast upstairs.
You do?
I still have the third grade cast with the people that signed it.
That's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, the crazy thing about that was I kept it for so long that I didn't know what to do with it. Like, it kind of started to smell after a while, and like a year later, you know, I was like, you know, or even just after I took it off. But after a while, like, things just, they lose smell. So now it's just like a sock with some wrapping, and it's got everybody's name on it, and I don't know. I just never got rid of it. It's got like a slit where they took it off. And obviously I can't put my arm in it now, but it's one of those things that I just like, I don't know why. I don't think it matters that I kept it, but sometimes you can even reference the names on it, and it's kind of just like, oh yeah, I remember this person and this person, whatever. So yeah, I should probably get rid of it or like put it in the Hall of Fame of my stuff. I don't know.
The Hall of Fame of Mike's stuff.
Yeah.
Like a storage unit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wouldn't be a Hall of Fame.
No one would care.
No.
But
The only reason I brought it up is because when we got back to 5th grade, I was playing football. I wasn't in school. I was actually just we were playing football on our front lawn, and I slipped in the grass because it was wet, and I broke my. Oh no, this was a different time. I'm sorry. My bad. third grade, same situation happened. Mike got all this attention. He brought in donuts because you remember you got your cast on and you had to miss school for the first three, I don't know, classes. Like,
Yeah, I missed like half the day because I had to do this appointment in the morning.
And even though we were in classes we weren't in the same class, but our classes were next to each other. Door to door. So people kind of knew. And they kept asking me, like, is your brother going to be okay? And all these.
Yeah,
and I was like,
kids.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Kids, and at that time, like rumors and opinions of, and we're so small. There's like what 20 kids so there's 60 kids in a grade or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe less, and it's just like everybody knows everybody. So
sure,
everyone's like, "Oh, is Michael?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably pretty cool. I feel like a rock star coming in that day.
Yeah, everyone's in the hallway screaming and like, "Let me sign your cast."
Yeah,
it's so silly because it's like I feel like a lot of people probably broke their wrist in elementary school, but
there's probably so many people that like.
But for us, it just felt like a big deal because it was like we got all this attention.
We had a lot of attention for a lot of different reasons, and we'll get into more stories like through the years. I'm sure there's a lot of different subjects we can talk about, but just to specifically focus in on that, I just remember another thing about the broken arm is like I didn't have anybody sign it because it was freshly made, and I let my third grade teacher be the first one to sign it. Mm-hmm. And I remember like I didn't see you at all, so I let my gym teacher sign it and kids in my class. And by the time like I got home, I'm pretty sure it was either a nana or a mom, and she was like, "I'm so upset with you that you didn't let your brother sign it first." You remember that?
Yeah, they made it a toxic thing, like I cared.
Yeah, like it mattered. She made me feel terrible about it. I was like, I'm not thinking about Nick right now.
Yeah, like
I have a broken arm. I'm a rock star.
Yeah, you're a rock star. I was gonna say. You got the donuts. Everyone's like, this
like
kid's
the green
lit.
cast with everyone's like writing with their Sharpie.
Anyone who brought in McDonald's or like Dunkin' Donuts from like their doctor's appointment.
You were the people.
Everyone was like, whoa.
Yeah.
10 eyes glued.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You guys have outside food?
Yeah. You're not eating the...
No stuffed crust pizza for you?
Yeah. You're not eating the taco salad or whatever we eat.
Yeah.
Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Only thing we liked was chicken tenders.
That was the only thing we ate, really. I mean, it was like one of those days they'd have chicken tenders once a week, and I was like, yes. And then every other day I was like, I'm just going to drink my chocolate milk and maybe anything.
Yeah, our mother liked to pack us our food, and she'd be like, I got you Go-Gurts, I got you all this stuff, cookies. And we'd eat like the junk food and then like the Go-Gurt, and then she'd make us like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Or even fluff. So that's literally like a dessert.
And we still wouldn't even eat it. We'd be like, it's kind of soggy.
Still be wrapped in we'd bring it home with like a melted ice pack, and she'd be like, you guys didn't even eat your lunch. And we're like,
we had the cookies.
Nah, we had like the Scooby-Doo gummies, and that's about it.
So then so she was like, it's not even worth it. I throw out all this food. So then we ended up doing just
buying lunch
a lot. And we'd always bring money every now and then. We'd probably eat whatever was on the menu.
Money in our account too, and they'd be like, "You're almost out. You have to let your mom know."
Oh my gosh, the
Remember
accounts. That was so silly.
And we had like those little word pads after like halfway through.
Yeah, that was weird. Well, that was like right in the era of like technology starting.
Everybody had like these ID codes. Remember halfway through, everyone started getting those.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would give them to kindergartners. I mean, I guess it's kind of a good thing for emergencies and whatnot.
But it was like a 6-digit code you had to remember.
Yeah, how the heck? I don't remember mine. Actually,
I do.
Actually, what was yours?
456-387.
Okay, so mine was 456-385.
Really?
385, I think it was.
That's so weird.
That's where you just completely like opened a new part of my brain.
There's stupid things that I remember.
That's
from
like,
school.
Oh my god, that's so fun. I mean, yeah, we had them all the way up till senior year, but still, that's crazy that you remember that.
Yeah, that was so. We kept it for 9 years or whatever.
I guess that's why you would remember something like that.
Yeah, I remember all my locker combinations too.
No way. There's no shot in hell. I cannot tell you. All I know is that the last combo I had, there was a 9 involved, but I don't know any middle school ones, high school. I didn't use my locker in high school, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Mike's wrist. We were at Ortho, New York, the bone and joint experts of whatever. And we literally I remember being at the the place, so you were getting your cast off the day of, because Mike had his cast on for like 4 weeks, a month, and I was playing. We were playing dodgeball with our stepbrothers or something in something weird. I don't know. We were goofing off. I threw like one of those soft like dodgeballs, or it could have been like a small football, and I threw it really hard. And I was on my knees because we were like trying to hide behind barriers, and we had like Nerf gun fights in this big like playroom, which was cool. And I threw my hand so hard into the floor, and I jabbed my thumb, and I sprained my thumb. Same situation. Eyes went, blah, blah, blah. And our dad was there, and he gave me some juice and was like, "Oh, you're good." But my hand was pretty swollen. I mean, they took care of me, whatever. But it wasn't until like Monday, after the weekend we had been with him, where we went to like the doctor's, right? And you got the cast off. And I was like, my thumb really hurts, Mom. Like, I need them to check it. And she was like, she goes, "Hey, like, I don't mean to bother you." She talked to the doctor on the side, and she was like, "My son might be a little bit like jealous, or I don't know, maybe he has like hysteria or something. He just thinks that he's in pain. Can you give him an X-ray?" And like, I wasn't like BSing. I was just I was like, my thumb hurts. So Mike got his cast off, and they were like, "Yeah, your son sprained his thumb, your other son." So that was really funny. So I'm gonna cast. We go back to school, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got your cast off," and everyone's like, "Wait, your brother has a sprained thumb," and it was so confusing.
Yeah.
So I had to wear this stupid sprain.
Broken wrist, and you had a sprained thumb within like
weeks.
6 weeks of each other.
What a dynamic.
That was insane if you think about it.
Yeah, but things happen, and
yeah, it's life.
But back to 5th grade, I did the same thing. I was playing football. I broke my wrist.
I remember.
Same hand, and I had to go through 5th grade graduation with a cast on. But yeah, we had a lot. We were injured for
those years. But,
yeah. I've got a lot of stuff done on my right arm now that I think about it. I just had surgery on my shoulder.
Yeah, your whole like up from your fingers to your shoulder. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that too. But yeah, elementary school was an awesome time. Just fun.
Yep. Exactly.
It's just interesting how, as a kid, you're so innocent and things are easier. I would say you and I as twins, we really related to each other because in some senses we were together. And then when we had the independence apart, we grew and learned different things. But as we, because we lived together, we still were exposed to things and stuff. But
right, like we still got to see each other after school and like hung out and talked about our days every day.
And I mean, we shared a room, so it was like we'd say things.
Yeah, up until like 3rd or 4th grade. So,
but I really enjoyed that part of our lives. I think it was a good time.
Yeah, and I think we may do a part 2 on elementary school because I feel like we have a lot of stories to tell from that 6-year span. We might not do it right away. We might wait on it.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could be the next episode. We're not really sure yet. But as far as this episode goes, we're going to wrap it up today. Nick, why don't you take us home and we'll go from there.
This has been the 90% podcast episode. Who knows? But like always, save that 10% for yourself. Make a glass of orange juice if you're sad. Orange juice is awesome. I like orange juice.
Love orange juice.
We always talk about it on this show.
Yep.
And again, if you don't like orange juice, you can do milk, but dairy's probably not the best for you.
Yep. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. It'd be greatly appreciated if you're enjoying us so far. If you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, go back and watch them. We have a bunch of stuff we talk about. It's going to range in a wide variety of topics and subjects, and we just hope you guys enjoy them and listen to them, whether you're riding a bike, doing a workout, going to bed, trying to relax for your morning rise, whatever it is. If you guys are enjoying our content, please come back for more and enjoy everything that we're giving you. So
thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out.